All right, I'm going to just ask for your attention for about 5 minutes. All right. Now, I'm going to explain something to you. Now, unfortunately, I didn't notice this, but in the homework and the labs, they've got both the Halloween project and the Shape Up project and the short exercises. So I don't care which you call which. Put one of them in your homework and one of them in your lab. Does that make sense to everybody? All right. Now, some of you had sent me um, had sent me emails saying that you didn't know where this was and you didn't know where that was, etc. I get that, okay? One thing, I do like the books by Muroc, but I occasionally have a problem with the way they organize things. All right? So what I sent you this morning, it's a zipped folder. All right? And in that zipped folder, this is what's in there. It's a folder called HTML short exercises, and there's a folder in it called short exercises. In there, there's a folder called Town Hall, and in there should be everything that you need for those HTML short exercises. I'm not yet talking about the other ones. Some of you had talked about those. But I'm just telling you, because most of that material, I believe you already have, but unfortunately, sometimes it's thrown all over the place. It may be easier for you to use this. I don't know. All right, and that's what I'm trying to do, is make it easier for you. All right, now on the other one, so take a look at that, and if you've got questions, then let me know, okay? But on the other one, let me find that. Give me a second here. So I'll just open this up. So I'm going to open up both. Whoops. I'm going to open up both the, come on, Halloween project PDF, and then I'll open up the other PDF. All right, a couple of you had asked me questions, and it said, for example, when you get to chapter 6, and it's confusing. It says, modify the second heading as shown. Then add the image cat1.jpg and the link below to the heading, or below the heading. The link should display a page named cat.html in the products folder. Now, you don't have that page. Don't worry about it. It doesn't matter if it doesn't show. In a later chapter, and I don't know why they're doing it this way, but in a later chapter, they're going to tell you to rename the index.html file cat.html. Then you'll be able to physically link to it. Now, after you do this and you link to it, it's going to give you an error because the file does not exist. Does that make sense? All right. And again, I'm not sure why sometimes they do things they do. All right. So, when you say, well, geez, why'd they do it like that? I don't know. Then I think it was in chapter 7, they asked you to create this nav bar, or this navigation menu, and someplace in here says add a two-tier navigation menu. So they want you, if it's not shown in there, then they want you to add it. You already know how to do this. What you'll want to do is you'll want to come into that section, make an unordered list, make sure that that displays inline or inline block, and it'll originally have home, product list, personal, decorating ideas, and join email. Then inside of the LI for decorating ideas, you'll have to make another unordered list, which will have outdoor, indoor, table, and treats. In addition, for this unordered list right here, you will probably want to set it up so, I don't know how they've done this or if they tell you to do it or not, but if they don't, just make it so, at least set it up for hover. So A:hover that's when you are using for hover, you are using the pseudo class, and then make it orange. I think they give you an orange color in there. Otherwise, I'm sure you can find it. All right. And this one looks like in here, you will give it a hover color of gray. Does that make sense to everybody? All right. Now, as you're going through this, yeah, I'm sure occasionally, because you're reading these really with a lot of care, and that's a good thing. So I'm sure eventually you'll have other questions. So if it's a homework day like today, other than, like I said, these first 5 or 10 minutes, I'm not going to talk. But if somebody brings something up and I think, boy, other people are going to come and ask this too, then I will stop and I will say, hey, I need your attention for a couple minutes. Now, for those of you who emailed me, have I answered your questions? All right. And again, if you say, well, I looked through it and you sent me this thing today called HTML short exercises, and I already got all that stuff, then don't use this. That's totally fine. You're not hurting my feelings any. All right. And the last thing is, I talked to both students who had volunteered to tutor. Angie Shelton is going to come in this morning. She will introduce herself and she will give you her email, etc. So if any of you feel you need help, she is willing to come into class and work with you on class days. She is willing to work with you electronically. All right. I know that she's got I don't think she'd mind me saying this. She's got a very unique situation. All right. I will tell you this and I'll try to keep it short because it's her business, not mine. Her husband worked for a furniture manufacturer, and I think 2 years ago got transferred to Nebraska. He's living there and she's here. She's hoping to she will graduate in December and is hoping to get a job around here, and he'll move back and try to find a job. Or if he can't, she'll move there. I don't know. The point is, I believe she's raising either a daughter and a son. I don't know. All I'm telling you is, I don't know how old her kid is, so you will have to work with her if you want to, if she is the one that you want to have tutor you and you want to do it electronically. You'll have to work around your schedule and her schedule. All right. Now, Gabriel, I believe, is a greeter at a restaurant right now. He's, of course, hoping when he graduates in May of 2022 to have a different job. But he has said that he will come in this week, but he didn't know what day. He thought it might be Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. He wasn't sure. All right. So hopefully, if you have questions or whatever about tutors, even if you use them once in a while, there's no cost to you. But what Angie has to do, or what Gabriel has to do, is they have to keep track of the hours they work. And there is no problem with them coming in here. And if you ask for a tutor and you want them to come in, it's like you're totally lost on an assignment. You're like, hey, Angie, or hey, Gabriel, can you come in here? There's nothing wrong with you getting tutored. I've literally had classes in this. I'm not making this up. I had a class like 2 years ago with 8 people in it. 4 people, 4 of those, so half the class, was regularly getting tutored. That's why we brought the tutor, Luke, in, and he was tutoring people while class was going on a class day. Because it worked really well for all of them. And a lot of them had the same questions, and he was able to answer it all at once. All right. If let's just say that Mason wants a tutor and either Angie comes in here or Gabriel comes in here, and all of a sudden now Michael's got a question or Donald's got a question or whatever, that's fine. You can sit in with them if you think it would help you. And by no means do you have to do that. All right. The last thing I want to tell you, and hopefully that answered the questions about tutors. The last thing I want to tell you is we have in the past, what's happened here is we have a counselor, is up there, David Markowitz, and he comes in here anywhere from once a week to once a month. The problem is David is centered out of the St. Louis campus. So sometimes until I've got a problem, let's just say it's 5 weeks into here, we've had 3 tests. And person X in here has failed all 3 tests. and is not turning in any homework. Well, I'm supposed to fill out these early reports, and if you fail a test, everybody can fail a test. But if you're not doing the work and you're not turning in when it's due, I've got to let him know. Well, the point is, he was having a hard time getting out here a lot of times until 2 or 3 weeks after I contacted him for whatever reason. So they made these new student success coordinators. You may have seen a young lady walking around here, Michelle Riley. I have not even been introduced to her yet. She is scheduled to come in here sometime tomorrow morning and talk to us. I don't know when she'll come in. I don't know how long she'll come in. I had told you tomorrow, and I'm going to write it up right now, that tomorrow I was going to give you some kind of a pretest to do. All right. Well, if it's an hour, then it's going to be an hour, either hour less. I will still give you at least an hour to 2 to work on this. I don't think she'll be here an hour. Like I said, I haven't even heard her voice. I've seen somebody walk by that I think is her. All right. But it might be 5 minutes. It might be half an hour. I don't know. All right. Again, if it's more than that, we'll work around it. I'm not worried about it. So this week, lab today. Tomorrow, she will come in. Plus, we will be working on this pretest, so to speak. The test Wednesday will be only on chapters 1, 2, 3, and 4. Did everybody hear that? They will not be on 1 to 8. The reason that becomes important is when we look in here, that means Intro to Web Development. I tell you the truth, there's nothing from there. All right, how to code, test, and validate. You'll be asked to create a few pages that have certain things in them with certain HTML tags. You will be asked to validate every one of those. They should validate, which means they shouldn't have errors. They really shouldn't even have warnings. From chapter 3, how to use HTML to structure a page, it'll be expected that you structure it correctly. Now, if you start a new page and you save it as an HTML file and you get to the beginning of it, you hit your exclamation point tab, you have started to structure it correctly. If you are told to put the title on the page, for example, to make them home, about, and contact or something, you will be expected to do that. Does that make sense? All right. And then finally, how to use CSS. The amount of CSS that'll be in there will be minimal. You won't be asked to do a lot of detail on things. Now, either at the end of next week, ideally, or the beginning of the following week. Then we will have a test on 5, 6, 7, and 8. All right. I'm not sure right now if we will use the same document or if we will use a different document. All right. But again, when you do this and when you take this test, you should then make sure that you are coming out to this thing. You've all got it now. I asked. You've all got this, come on, all website thing. Yeah, it's got my name on it, but you know what I'm talking about. There will be a thing in there called tests. You should go under the hot one. That's where you should save everything. Does that make sense? And then eventually, by the end of the period, you will again go, not here, but you will go back out to here that's got everything with your Git. You will come in there and you will do a Git space add dot to add everything new. All right. And then after you've done that, all this other stuff that we've talked about, this is for the other class, but where is it? Of course, I can't find it now. I'll find it. Great. You won't have to do this because you've already done it. Git minus version, you won't have to do this because you've already done it. You won't have to do this. You will have to do this, a git add dot. After you do the git add dot, you will do a commit. You should already have this because we created that. I had you create a Git repository by that name. You will have to go in and do your Git push. So you should have to do you don't have to do this till you're all done with the test. Git add dot, git commit -m with your message, and git push. I've given you the email with those commands in there. I'll probably bring them up again on Wednesday because I want you to do it the right way. All right? And remember that when you do that, you want to be in your main folder here. If you went into this folder, it actually may or may not work, but I'm not sure. But so you'll want to come in here, you'll want to right mouse click, choose Git Bash here, and then when you're ready to take everything and put it over there, you will do those 3 commands. So again, you'll come in there and you can always check before you do this, you can do a git status. All right. Now, I don't know, maybe I changed this. I don't know. I don't really care. But you will again do a git add dot. All right, and hit enter, and it should add everything. If you want to double check, then you can type git status again. Then you will do a git commit, bless you, -m, and you might put like hot 1 for hands-on test 1 commit, something like that. That's fine. And you'll hit enter. All right. Then you will do your git, I always forget the exact command myself, git push -u origin main, and you might have to say master. Again, if your main doesn't work, choose master. If your main works, fine, then do it that way. Questions? Now, let's just say you're taking the test. So Michael here is taking the test. He's done. I give them a warning. There's 10 minutes left. He's like, oh my God, and he starts doing this and he forgets a command. Then raise your hand. Don't say, have the class be over when the other class is coming in here and say, I wasn't able to do this. I'm sorry, because the other class is in here. I'm not going to be able to sit down and help you. My other class will be in the other room already. So what I will probably tell you is at 1:45, 10 minutes in advance, I will say, hey, if you're still working on the test, you really should be finishing up and you should be doing these commands now. All right. And if you want to double check, what I will do is as you send these to me, I will send you back an email saying, yep, I got it. Just send me an email after you do all this stuff. You don't have to send me another invite or anything. Just send me an email. Just say, hey, Mr. Scott, I've put all the stuff out there. I'll quick go out to your, and hopefully if you haven't given me an invite yet to GitHub, do that before the test on Wednesday. I know James has. I don't know if any of the rest of you have or not. All right? Questions? Anything? All right. So again, I have no idea. Angie said she was going to try to make it in this morning, so my guess is that she will make it in sometime this morning. All right? Sorry I took up that much time.
I actually have a question.
Yes.
Is all the assignments due tomorrow or next week?
No, all the assignments are due a week from tomorrow, on the 6th. Now, again, one last time. So tomorrow, Michelle Riley will be coming in here, and we'll have a pretest. We'll go over the pretest as well. Wednesday, you have the entire period. If Nick here gets the test done in an hour, then he's got 3 hours to work on homework and labs. All right. Thursday of this week, we will go over chapter 9, which is on CSS Flexbox. And Friday, I guess, we will go over chapter 10, which is on CSS Grid. You're off a week from today because it's Labor Day. When you come back a week from today, I'm probably going to have some kind of a worksheet for you to work on. It might be, there might be 2 things. There might be another pretest and a worksheet or whatever. I don't know. Wednesday of next week, you can plan on having the test then on chapters 5 to 8. All right. And then probably that's what we'll do is we'll have a pretest and then the test on Wednesday, Thursday, we'll probably have like a worksheet. We'll go over this stuff. I'm looking in here, and it looks as though the test that they wrote was they only tested on 9, which was Flexbox and not Grid. I've got to double check that with Mr. Gudmisted. So you might have a test on just one chapter. All right. And that's moving things around on a page using Flexbox. But my goal is, again, I'm pushing it way out, but like 2 weeks from now, we're going to be finishing up the book. We're going to go over chapters 11 through 16. When you have your test, you will not be tested on each one of these chapters. I will tell you that right now. I'm not going to even go over 17, 18, 19, and 20. If you go, well, that's a rook. If you want, you can go out to my YouTube channel, and I have done lectures on 17, 18, 19, and 20, but I did them based off of the PowerPoints. Okay? The other thing we have to squeeze in there is, and hey, if you get a couple minutes and you want to do something, all right, then, can I move this? Come on, there we go. Then go out to bootstrap.com. You're going to learn, it's not Voodoo Trap, it's getbootstrap.com, all right, and you're going to learn Bootstrap. We're going to spend a few days on that. And I believe the last test that we take in here, it's tested on some of the material in 11 through 16. I'll let you know what, but they have you do it in Bootstrap. All right, if you say, well, I don't know what that is. A lot of it, you literally go out to their documentation. All right, so you go out to the docs. I don't know how to do this, and I want to go in and I want to create a form. Well, you go out in here and you go out to forms. And they've got, so I click on here, overview, and I go out to forms. And guess what? If I want to make this form, they give you every bit of the code to do that. So much of it that you will do will be drag and drop. Right? We will do at least a couple of these things as a class. Ideally, that'll put us somewhere around day 20. Then we're done with this book. You don't have to bring it anymore. Then starting in the next class, you bring this book. We will use that book for the rest of the semester. All right? I'm shutting up now.